Hello, Draconian starseeds. Hopefully, January was a nice month for you. This is going to be a general reading for the month of February. So we have, when I move my body, I bust through all that blocks me from my true health and vitality. I can think my way out of fear. I begin my day with love. Okay, that one really wants to come out, so we'll let it come out. We have love. Aha. So, I think it's going to be a lot of, loving yourself, loving your life, loving the image of yourself. With the elk on top like that. So your divine masculine, you're going to be balancing that this month. Your divine masculine is a little bit off kilter, especially for the love to come out. So you're going to be finding love in yourself, clarity, stability. In order for the rest of your foundations to align, you need to have emotional stability and foundations and mental stability and foundations. In fact, mental is probably the most important because if that one's off kilter, it can affect everything else around it. So you're going to be, I guess we'll say, practicing on loving yourself this month. And you're also going to be practicing changing your perception on just life in general. Because I feel like it might not be healthy or positive. And by adjusting your perception on not only life and people around you, but by loving yourself and loving your life, and if you don't love something about yourself, then change it, you're going to find love in other people. You're on a, not necessarily a dark night of the soul, but you're definitely on a journey. You're on a journey out of a tunnel, and you're gonna find a lot of happiness and just perspectives that you didn't think were possible when you reach the end of it. This is something that your guides want you to do, and whether this is your spirit guides, but also your star family, because they probably want to communicate to you about your gifts and your abilities and what you truly came here to do. Your mission, your contract, things like that. And with all these coming out, I feel like you're also a light worker as well. You just haven't discovered it yet. But you can turn this work contract into something that's very fun and enjoyable if you choose to do so. So you even have a good luck card here. Very interesting month for you. And a good place to start out, I think, would be asking yourself questions like, if you don't love yourself, then why? What's the reason? What do you dislike about yourself? And is that something that can be changed? And if not, then what are positives about that aspect of yourself that you can love and appreciate? And if it's something that's insecurity based, then maybe healing those insecurities, finding out where that trauma started from. And I feel like it might be generational trauma. And what I mean by that is a good example would be, so like in World War II over in Europe, a lot of people were starving. They didn't know when they were going to get their next meal. And their children, after that, it was actually a study done on it. The children after that had all these health issues. They were obese because while they were growing in the womb, going through that famine, it was ingrained almost like in their DNA that they didn't know when they were going to get their next meal. So even though they had food and everything, they still had that mindset of, well, there might not be food. Even though it's out there, it might not be there. So this could be something generational or like family related. Fragmentation on top. So a lot of your parts, a lot of different aspects of yourself aren't lining up together. So that's one piece of it. So getting those pieces to line up together, finding out why not all of you wants one thing, and not why all of you doesn't agree with one thing. And I feel like maybe, how do I word this? You have I guess like a biased mindset, but like, sorry, I'm trying to find the right words to describe it, and I haven't had the best luck with speaking for the past couple of days. You grew up with values that have created insecurities, and you need to take out those values and mindsets and egos to also get rid of those toxic tendencies and insecurities that they have created. Because this is your mindset now. This is how you view yourself. You don't want people to see you. You don't like who you are. You don't see any beauty or color in yourself or in the world around you. You don't have any hope for the future. You don't even really have a future plan. And this is how you should see yourself. Because you are beautiful and you did come here for a special reason, and you have untold powers and gifts that can help not just Gaia, but everyone on it. And along with getting rid of those egos and everything, there's been habits on top of those egos to drown those insecurities. Because having to live with insecurities for a prolonged amount of time generally leads you down paths that aren't the greatest for you. So getting rid of the habits that assisted in drowning out those insecurities and having to live with them, having to deal with them so long. You have to get to the root issue, because by treating the symptom, you're only making the root issue worse. Learning to feel again is also going to be a big thing for you. It's good to feel. Pain is a good thing. It lets you know that something is wrong. Covering it up covers up what you need to fix as well. You're not a dog with your tail between your legs. You need to own your place. When I see this, I don't really see keeping the peace. I see healing. It's not going to be an overnight thing. This is going to be a very long journey. Not just February, but after February, it's going to be, because trauma has layers. So when you heal one layer, then you're going to find all this other shit underneath of it, and you're going to be like, seriously? But it's good. It's good to clean up all of the mess. So this is going to be a prolonged healing journey for you, for the good of all. It's going to be very helpful. It's going to help you long term. It's not going to be a temporary fix. It's going to be a permanent fix. Working with stones might help you out. Obsidian is really good for protection. Aquamarine is really good for cleansing. And I would say rose quartz for love, but I think you might have better luck using desert rose, because it is really good for self-love, but it's also good for keeping your divine feminine balanced. In fact, in my opinion, rose quartz is like desert rose is like a rose quartz times 10. Through this journey, you're going to be given instructions and aid, not just from Draconians, but from other starseed families as well. And this isn't the first reading that's come out, and there seems to be a lot of unity between starseed families, and that's very nice, very helpful. You could also try cleansing your energy field, your aura, your chakras, and I've totally heard people say, oh, well, my chakras can't be cleaned, and it's like, there is a way, but you have to want it to be cleaned. You have to be willing to work for it. And it definitely is a process. It's not just like one and done. Like, you might find yourself doing saging yourself once or twice a week, eating healthier, meditating with stones. I mean, it's not like one and done. This is a prolonged process, because if those gears are clogged up, your energy is not going to flow right. It's almost like you keep being late for class. And now they're like, all right, well, we're going to catch you up on everything. So you have some stuff to catch up on. And you're going to be working pretty hard, not just this month, but probably for the rest of the year, of just cleansing, getting back into the flow of spirituality, and working with your starseed family, working on your mission, letting in things that you don't feel that you're ready to let in, but you are ready to let them in. You might want to try like maybe clean eating, maybe exercising, going on like a walk, and like listening to the sounds of nature, just to help calm you and stuff like that. Juicing, maybe taking like vitamins and herbal supplements, stuff like that. Even drinking just like a cup of herbal tea every day. Turmeric is really good for your stomach, or turmeric and ginger. They're really good for your stomach. That might help with at least the solar plexus, which is pretty important. by allowing yourself to accept love, love of yourself, love of life in general, you will attract love in other people as well if that's something that you desire, because that keeps coming up. Um, Part of the seeing no color in your life, you might have just been alone for so long and you just really want a human connection. Um, and if that's what you desire, then you should find it for sure. But when was the last time you connected with yourself also? The Chariot, Judgment on top. So, okay. So you have Lovers, Ace of Wand, and the Chariot. So you have very special, unique gifts. And I feel like you've used them before, and maybe you're just not about that, but you were given them for a reason. And I think you just don't really know how to use them yet, or maybe you're afraid to. Especially with the Ace of Wands here, because the Chariot is for both these cards, but maybe finding love in the gifts, learning to love the gifts that you've been given. And learning how to use them, working with your starseed family and other starseed families and your guides and everything, and opening up to them and allowing them to communicate with you, even building a communication platform, because, you know, even me, sometimes we try to communicate with each other and the message doesn't always get through the first or second time. And so sometimes you have to practice on that language of how to communicate. Um, and building that language together so that we both of you can communicate with each other and have that steady flow. Um, Part of me is like, yes, let that love in. If you want love in your life, then go get it for sure. But if you're struggling with loving yourself, maybe keep it platonic at first and build it up to that level, because sometimes when you're trying to heal trauma, deep trauma, and you're already in a relationship with somebody, it can sometimes complicate things. And maybe this person can even help you with that on a platonic level. But I think that trauma healing and toxic tendencies should definitely go before you try to build something with someone else, because you're already kind of on scaffolding with yourself from what it looks like. So maybe get yourself on solid ground as far as mental and emotional stability goes first, because it looks like that's really all you have to focus on right now, especially with this Judgment. So, like, I feel like this can definitely interfere if you don't get that trauma and everything out of the way first and just get that healing process going, loving yourself, adjusting your self image and your perception and everything like that. But I'm also not going to tell you how to live your life, and clearly you do have options out there for it to keep on coming out like that. So, I mean, if that is what you want, then go and get it. Sometimes it helps to have somebody there too, because sometimes they can give you their perspective on things and it makes it a little bit easier to heal and understand. So it's not necessarily a negative thing either. And it just depends on your situation and for you to make that decision, because it's your life. Hopefully that helped, and I hope you have a wonderful February.